Hey, this is Tony.
This is Paul coming at you from the Friends for Life podcast.
And we're go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Friends for Life podcast. Thanks for tuning back in. If you can, go down below, hit that subscribe button. Today our special guests are Sarah Millimen of RVI Industries and Chris Storrs of Assured Health. They've been on previous episodes, so you should definitely go check those out if you can. But we're kind of having like a group little round table here from multiple different industries to kind of see if we can come up with some solutions on the staffing crisis. And we also got some cool stories in here just from the history that Chris and Sarah have working in the field, so you're not going to want to miss it. Let's dive right into it.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Friends for Life podcast. We always have awesome guests, but now I have two of my favorite people here with me. Please introduce yourselves again.
Chris Storrs with Assured Health Services. First or second time back. Studio's gotten bigger and nicer.
Yeah, ladies and
very
gentlemen,
professional.
Look back at Chris's episode. It was sad. It was really, really sad.
And not because of Chris, right? Because of the background.
because of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it you or was it the background?
was
Just
me.
not sure.
Now that other voice, ladies and gentlemen, is
I'm Sarah Millimen from RVI, Riverview Industries. And yeah, happy to be back.
yeah, she at least came when we had painted walls and a couple of things hanging up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have pretty much gained a pretty good connection together. The three of us. I think that we run a lot of ideas off of each other, and we try to collaborate. No special order, but what's new since the last time that we have seen you on the podcast? Anything different, exciting, changing, or?
Well, I mean, like work related, of course. I mean, it's when I was on here last time, it was pre-COVID, and then COVID hit, and then everybody worked together to get through, and then we kind of run into a major staffing emergency. So there's been a lot of changes since the last time that we talked. I mean, both positive and negative. For us right now, it's just more of just trying to stay still. Just not worry about trying to do too much more other than just kind of sit still and continue to get through each day.
Yeah, day by day. I hear that. What about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember. So we kind of same boat. I think it was like during COVID when we did the podcast. But we did get a grant from DODD for innovative services. So that was really excited. I was all pumped. We got to January and I'm like, yes, we're coming out of the woods. People are getting vaccinated. It's only up from here. And then, the staffing crisis. So we have some exciting stuff going on. But we're kind of in the same boat. Like, let's just get stable. Let's get some quality services back. Because sometimes it feels like we're just there to maintain the basics, which we are, in some regards, but, you just always want to do more. So that's kind of where we are. I have a big event coming up on Monday.
Yes.
I invited you guys, right?
Mm-hmm. And we're going to be there to podcast.
I want signs, like, no. Could you make me signs?
Yeah, signs and shirts.
But yeah, so we have the director of DODD coming out, and so that should be good. And so I had this great idea in January, like I'm going to show off all these amazing things we're going to do. And now I'm like, well, shoot, what do I do now? So it should be interesting. But I'm still excited. It's a good opportunity to kind of like showcase the important work that DSPs do and that, we all do as agencies. So.
And you guys have some pretty new areas that have been like remodeled and everything.
We're renovating. We did some beautiful renovations, and what's really cool is the people we support are coming into the rooms and they're like, "Oh, this looks amazing. So is this for staff?" And we're saying like, "No, this is for you." And no one knows what to do. They're so excited because like no one's just like completely redone rooms and gotten them new furniture, and it's great. Right. So I'm really excited about it. So one's going to be completely redone. One's going to be in progress, but we're trying to make it more of a sensory room that's like adult sensory, which there's no examples in the world of apparently because I can't find anything. So I'm excited. It's going to be really good.
Well, I can't wait to go personally. What about you, Paul? Are you going to make it?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Just making sure I wasn't doing it solo.
I don't think you know how to run the podcast, so it'd be a pretty dire straits for you. But yeah, I'm excited to come check out your place. I haven't been to either of your places yet, actually. So You need to throw an event, Chris, man. We need to get out there.
We need to do some remodeling as well. I agree.
Well, and you have a pretty decent setup already, though. I mean, I remember when you first got it up and going in Maumee. I had somebody send me pictures like, Tony, this is what you need to do. So I really like both of you guys' setup.
He built a podcast studio instead, though.
Yeah.
Spend his money for the studio.
Goals.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the thing too, like your spaces are nicer and newer. Like ours is an old sheltered workshop, so it just looks like a gross warehouse.
Well, I felt the same ever since it was started.
Yeah, and so like I've just always wanted to like make it not feel that, especially as you shift from that old school sheltered workshop piece rate to more, there are some workspaces, but it's mostly adult day support and leisure and stuff like that. So like no one wants to sit in a warehouse to relax and have like therapeutic recreation. Like this is fun.
Speak for yourself. I'm all about it.
Yeah, right.
I love looking at those old lockers.
Yes.
It relaxes me.
Reminds me of high school.
Well, lately, just like you brought up the staffing crisis, are you guys being innovative? I know I've had to be very innovative on how not only to get staff, but to retain staff and to service individuals with the lack of. So anything going on in your companies on that I could use?
I don't know why I'm shaking my head. No, nothing happening.
We've ignored this.
We've been as creative as possible. We tried different things, something that we haven't tried before. Unfortunately, none of us really come through and been like a magic button. But we've had to continue to try different things. I can't even tell you how many different things that we've tried, but it continues to kind of fall on deaf ears.
Yeah.
So, but we're going to keep trying. We're going to keep pushing, keep trying different things just to do something.
Idea, gravel. You just got to get on the floor,
Right.
scream, cry, and say, "Hey, I will give you anything you want." That'll get some people in.
I don't know if that's working.
No, it's
Yeah, I was
not.
going to say, how's the groveling working?
I think people step back and leave out.
Keep trying, Coney.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
If you cry enough, good things will happen.
Yeah,
That's like a proverb.
Drink
I
your
think.
tears, people. Drink your tears.
I think everyone's doing a lot of the same stuff, though. Like, the sign-on bonuses, and then you look at this place and you're like, dang it, my sign-on bonus isn't good enough. And I actually had the situation where a different agency was calling my staff and saying, how much are you making now? And we'll beat it. And I'm just like,
Ow.
get the gloves out. But I mean, people are desperate. I just try and be like really real with people because like that's what I was saying. I know the feeling of not, my daughter has disabilities and we have help, and we lost our nurse for like a month, and like it was terrible, and not because it's, like I love my kid. I'm going to take care of her, but we have a large family and we really rely on that support, and that helps her have the best care possible and a better life. And so it's just really like I understand, and I'm like, look guys, I know how this feels and it feels awful. So I have no problem like, hey, here's my personal life. Don't end up like me. No, I'm just joking. But like this is what it really feels like, and let's walk through that about how we want that. And so we try and do a lot of the trauma-informed, like keeping staff at the forefront and really trying to do the training. But yeah, it's one of those things. We finally got some help for our day services. So like, Monday through Friday, that's a little easier gig to hire
There you
for.
go, yeah.
But we were even short there for a long time. I was doing direct service. My directors were doing direct service, and then residential continues to be. Which I'm hoping with like kids coming back to college, being able to reach out and say like, hey, flexible hours for school, but
At least for the weekends. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
on.
Work a weekend
You want
or
this.
every weekend.
Forever.
forever and ever.
Yeah, so before we... Oh my gosh, I just choked. Before... that was weird.
All CPR,
Oh,
first
good.
aid and
Yeah.
CPR
Yeah, we got you.
certified,
All right,
right?
this is we're actually here to test your skills.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go into anaphylactic shock now.
Where's your EpiPen?
That's for you to figure out. But if say people don't want to go back and listen to your other episodes, or they should, obviously. But come on, you guys, quick, brief breakdown of what your places do, because we have a ton of new listeners since the last time you guys came on.
This is
It's
true.
grown exponentially. So just let people know a quick little summary of RVI and Assured Health.
Yeah, RVI. So we are We started out in actually 1973 as the Sheltered Workshop for Ottawa County. We privatized very early on in 1999, which means that the county board no longer staffed and was connected with us. So we privatized very early on. There's still counties going through that whole process. But we offer a full array of services. We do waiver services mostly. So we have residential going into people's homes, supported living. We do adult day service, vocational habilitation, which is help job training. We do employment services, kind of just a very broad array of everything.
Yeah.
And just try and do that, but most of our business or most of our services are in the adult day array and residential. So.
Okay, sounds good. And Chris?
Yeah, I mean, really a lot of the same things. I mean, we started off about 7 years ago with one individual, one employee. We started off with day programming services, which really focused more on the leisure, more the socialization piece, and I think that's really our focus is just allowing people to feel a part of something. Mm-hmm. So that's really what we focused on. We do some vocational life skill building as well. We've currently got 3 locations for that. COVID kind of changed the way and how we were operating. Actually closed down one of them, and then COVID came around, so we opened it back up. And so we got 3 different locations that do that. And then we do the residential services as well, just working with our individuals, just helping them live their best life. We got a couple vehicles that we transport to and from, but really we just do that for our own programs as well. That sums it up.
Mm-hmm. I have a question. We just had Jason on from Sunshine not too long ago, and he gave a very articulated way of expressing on how basically we're in trouble. And I agree a lot with him. How do you two feel about that? I mean, broadly enough, it's because of the Medicaid dollars, and we can't match what even McDonald's and Amazon are paying people for starting wages. Do you two believe that we are going down that rabbit hole, that there's going to be a lot of companies either shutting down and consolidating, or do you think that it's just like a time and a wait?
I think a little bit of both. I mean, there are already people shutting down and getting out of it. He or you are right in the fact that we're set by Medicaid rates, so we can't go in there and increase them. So wages need to increase. We can't increase our reimbursement for that. We're stuck. McDonald's, you can pay whatever you want. Mm-hmm. So I think there is a wait game. I think that's accurate. But there's also a lot that, you are in potential trouble. I mean, I think the key is really finding the right people with the right heart who want to do this, because it's not easy. It's and I tell people this all the time. We have the greatest jobs in the world. Yeah. At the same time, it's one of the toughest jobs in the world. So depending on any given day, it could be fantastic or just downright miserable. But yeah, we are in a challenging time. I think people are already shutting down. I think that will continue, and I think that if you can get through it as well, there is a great opportunity for that.
What about you, sir?
So this is probably too in-depth. edit. No. So to me, it really goes back to what we value in society, right? And I think for a long time, we've realized the importance of this work. And, obviously we do, being in this field and what it really entails. But society at large maybe doesn't, right? And people with disabilities, the elderly, like we're coming across this in every aspect of a caregiver's life, right? Of this career in general. And so just for a long time, like nursing homes are short staffed, hospitals, and so for a long time, we've really just devalued or thought like, oh, okay, well, we'll just give this amount to support these people, but we're not understanding the work that goes in it. And then at the same time, you have Medicaid with all these unfunded mandates, right? Get people in the community, do one-on-one work, do this and that. And so that's our heart. That's what we want to do. I want to sit there and, like you said, help enable people to live their best lives. And however I can do that, I want to do that. But it doesn't change the reality that at the end of the day, I can do a facility-based day program, right, with like a 1 to 16 ratio and make good money, opposed to having one staff out in the community doing one-on-one and doing real community building. And so you have to find ways to fund that. And to me, that's the frustrating part, because I think like right now they have a lot of wants.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of wants that are just not funded, and they're not really valued. Like, people don't understand that, you know, there are studies that show like you can cut Medicaid spending by $7 billion by having people who have meaningful community relationships. So the more meaningful community relationships, like, and the less time they actually need paid support, you're saving money. And also when people belong, they're happy, they're healthier, and your, you know, medical costs are going down. So
Right.
it's just, how do we get there, and how do we make other people see that importance? Because, you know, how do you put data and benchmarks on what one person feels is belonging, and how that works? So I think I am concerned. I'm concerned on many levels, and I really am a little scared right now, like, like how many disabled people have to get hurt or die before you take action, because that's where I feel it is because we can't do those basic things. We can't, you know, we have staff working 30 hours in a row, or, you know, like working, doing a sleep shift, still working. Like, we have people working all these hours, and at what point does your quality of service suffer? And so that's really, as an agency, what we're looking at now, and having to give notice or having to move people in together so that we can make sure that, you know, health and safety is there. And health and safety is important, right? But, you know, having a life and dignity of risk and all those things are important too. So I'm concerned. I think there are going to be places that aren't going to be able to continue, and that, you know, that's a hard thing to swallow, and just like being determined to not be one of those places.
Yeah, the sheer thought of, in the last 10 to 15 years, I think we've went very far into community and residential for the people that we serve. And I just see it reverting. I see a whole lot of ICFs probably starting. I see a lot of, like you said, kind of, you know, placement for a lot more roommates. Like, that was already a thing, but now I see it happening even harder and even stronger and even faster. It's
well,
good talk.
from what I can gather, not being super involved like you guys are, it's kind of becoming a vicious cycle of, like, you know, you have people that are working for you, and then they're almost forced into these like more difficult hours, longer shifts, like you were saying. So that's probably contributing to some factor of burnout, and then making the situation worse. But like, it's very hard to contemplate, because Tony and I talk about this. Like, this is all we talk about at this point, is like, what can we do from my job in an advertising standpoint? And then, you know, Tony as the CEO and basically still working normal hours, like out in the field. Like, how can we make this work? Because, like, the statistics are pretty high. Like, with people with disabilities, I think I read something. I was just pulling this up while you guys were talking. It says 26% of the adult population, 1 in 4 adults, has some form of disability. That's a huge number. That's a quarter of the population.
Just
but people
talk to some
don't
people.
talk about it. No, but nobody's talking about this. Nobody's bringing it up. So, as a collaborative team of not only us 4 in the room right now, but people all over Ohio, all over the country, what route do you think we can go to? I think it needs to step back even further than just, and it's in crisis mode right now, so it's hard. So it's like, how do you step back to the foundation and be like, how do we make this something people want to do? Because a lot of people don't even know about it. Like I said, I think I said this on the last podcast, like, if you don't have someone in your direct life that has a disability, or in a family member or a friend or someone you grew up with, it's non-existent. You might see someone in a wheelchair at Walmart and you're like, oh, whatever. It doesn't matter to you. But this is a huge chunk of the world that has some form of a disability. So how do we make this more visible and the issue more dire in the eyes of the quote-unquote regular population? Because I know my friends don't care about disabilities. They're like, you work where? like we live in this world where like don't say the R word, don't. But everybody else in the rest of the world, they're just like, oh, he's R, he's stupid, that's blah, blah. And it's like, so I don't know. I think there's a PR issue at the base level too as well.
That's a good point. For the PR standpoint, but
I just don't think people know about it.
Well, and I think. Sorry if you
Nope,
just cut
go
me
ahead.
off.
No.
Sarah's the talker. But I think too, but we've seen disability as such a negative thing. So when we see things as a society, when we see things as something negative, we like to not talk about it, right?
Correct.
And so when you don't talk about something and things are othered, then it's really hard to see them as positive. So a lot of times you're going to see, right now with the disability rights movement, you're seeing a lot of reclaiming of the word disability, right? So in the past, you've heard people first language all the time. It's a person with a disability, not a disabled person, right? Which is fine. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but there's a lot of self-advocates who are saying, no, I identify as a disabled person and I don't see disability as bad. So trying to reclaim that and not have that negative connotation with it and make it something positive. I think that a lot of times, and I talk about this way too much, we are very, very focused on independence. And again, independence is good, but there's this thought that even if you just need a tiny bit of help, right, then that's bad. And so we just put so many values or worth or on independence, right? So when you can't fully be that the way that we think you should be, then that's negative. So my whole goal, and I think probably ours, when you talk about community is people working together to all live in a better place, right? And so that's what we really want to focus on and do. And for me, I always try and frame it I have many friends who are what would be termed as social justice warriors, right?
Yeah, of course.
But it's a social justice issue to me, right? So I am going to, are you in college for criminology and social justice? Let me tell you how that relates to the disability field, and we can talk about disability activism and all that stuff. Are you a nurse? Well, let me tell you how that relates it. So I think for a long time we've just been going after a specific type of person, but I think that disability touches every aspect of life, and there's so many different facets of this field that we can market it better in that way. And so that's what I kind of always try and do to do that and to take away the negative stuff about it, right? I actually had a staff member. I took my daughter because she had no nurse to work with me, and I was feeding her, and she's fed through a G-tube. And one of my own staff members said, "It's really nice that you're willing to deal with her."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I didn't say anything, and then I laughed. And the staff walked out, and I looked at Eve. I said, "You hear that? I'd deal with you. I put up with you." And I was joking with her because she's very sarcastic. So, but I know she hears stuff like that. So I was trying to make a joke about it, and I'm like, well, little does she know that you have to deal with me all the time. And she rolled her eyes at me, And so we had this moment, but I didn't realize the staff was still heard me. So I felt a little bit like a jerk. And she's like, "I didn't mean that. I'm just saying a lot of people would put kids like her away." And so I think that there's just these ideas that still persist in our field, right? That we need to educate our staff on, to also present it that way to the world. Because I think we're still in the mindset, yes, it is the best job in the world and I like it, but I think a lot of times we still get in that mindset of, I'm a good person because I do this job, right? And you could be a total dick. I don't know, right?
True.
We have all experienced staff that, hey, back off, friend. This is not how we do our job. And so I think that, kind of getting past that and understanding, no, this is an important job because people have worth, and just because you don't have the time to see it because you're busy and, all this stuff doesn't mean that they don't have worth or things to offer their community or gifts to give. So... 3 hours later. I feel like the little SpongeBob.
No. That's a good answer, actually. Do you think overall I think there's a fine line in my mind of the social justice warrior and the people fighting for social justice. Because when I hear social justice warrior, I think my friend who's a burnt out stoner on Facebook that's like, we need to all make more. And it's like, okay, how?
Right.
I don't know, but just do it. And that's not how things work, my friend. But thanks for your opinion. But do you think this social justice warrior mentality I think it's negative in a way because it's drowning out real things that need to take precedent, because some people will argue about anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you want drugs to be legal, they'll argue about that. They'll argue for disabilities. It's all good. They have a good intention, but I think it's flooding the world with shit that doesn't matter right now when we should be focusing on the bigger issues. Like, okay, I understand legalizing drugs may help a lot of people. Okay, whatever. But right now there's people with severe disabilities that cannot physically take care of themselves that do not have people to help them.
Yeah.
I think we need to take some precedent instead of arguing for everything at once, like really focus in on issues that are actually affecting people.
Right. Well, and I think that a lot of those people have a lot of passion, right? So how do you channel? How do you kind of say like, I see you have a lot of passion. I appreciate that about you. Let me give you something to be passionate about. Let me educate you on this. Did you know? Because I think people, you know, at their core, like, want to stand for good things, right?
Absolutely.
You want to represent good things. You want good things to happen. And I think that we just live in a day and age where it's very polarized. So it's hard to like have those discussions and actually do something fruitful with that energy. So I think that, you know, I'll, you know, often say, you know, things, you know, I'll often say like, oh, that's really interesting. Did you know, you know, and then you can tie it back into like disabilities. Like, I'm really good. So I think we talked about this last time that I grew up as like a pastor's kid, and I could make anything spiritual. Like, it was a game. So my friends would say like, give me a subject. I'll take it back. I'll make it spiritual. We'll make it about Jesus. Don't worry, we got this. And we would play this game. It's a really good party game if you're nice and drunk. Instead of drunk history, I want to do drunk Bible telling,
there we
storytelling.
go.
I think that would be a really.
We'll just bring you in for that.
That is your next podcast. Let me tell you the story. But so like I feel like I have that gift though, even with like, let me tell you how this relates to disabilities, and I can kind of share that. So, but I always joke around like we can bring this back around and just kind of channel that passion of yours. Because I think deep down people just want to be a part of something, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can give them something to be a part of. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, Chris, you're going to say something, but you strike me as a man of action. Passion does not always equal action. So, you know,
I'm a man of many words.
Yes. So what's your take on that? Because it's such a persistent issue right now. It's become the podcast is all we talk about. It's because it's so dire, and you know I can go out and make commercials all day long, but it's not going to help. I don't think personally. I don't think.
Yeah. Factually.
Well, what I was going to say in regards to the awareness piece of it, I mean, everybody's got their own little niche and what they do and how they go about things. You know, Sarah speaks very eloquently and inspirationally.
Yes.
You know, for me, it's the changes are happening. And if you go back and look, you know, my child's in, she's in 5th grade. She's got, individual disabilities that are in the classroom with her. It's a part of their life. It's not different. They're not in different classrooms. They're a part of it. She speaks. Her friends speak. They talk differently than it was when I was growing up. So I think that difference is happening. But I also look at it as it takes time, and you need to keep doing it. And it can't be maybe it could be a movement, but like to me, it's a day to day. You just live it. You do it every day, and every advantage you have to educate somebody, you take it. Mm-hmm. Changing the world is not my thing. My thing is doing it little by little, little by little.
Well, that's how you change the world.
Maybe. But I think we are getting there, and I think we just need to, when people do say things or make those stares or whatever it might be, it's a great time to educate somebody. You can do it snarky, and you can also just do it, oh, hey, by the way, here's Kevin. Kevin, say hi. Mm-hmm. And I think little by little that helps change.
That makes sense. I definitely think that there's this misconception, too, for a lot of people. Because you can get new people into the field. And, well, for example, I had somebody tell me outright that they can run this company better than I could and better than the people that I have running it, day-to-day operations. And this person is in their early 20s. And I thought, you know what? Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Like, you can go start your own. And honestly, if you're good enough, I will come ask you for advice. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm big on collabing. So, like, if Chris or Sarah here are doing something more efficient, you know, I'll be the first one to say, hey, how'd you do that? Like, hey, can I get a part of that? So I think people a lot of times don't feel as if we do enough because they don't see all of that, what we do. And the DSP portion can, I mean, once you're good at it, it can look easy. So it's like, where am I supposed to, I don't know, like, where do I find myself in the future if the people that I'm trying to teach to do and be better aren't listening because I'm just not there in front of them doing it all the time? I think that's one of my biggest conundrums in a way of how to express how what we do transcends further than just the DSP work, and how great, I mean, it can be. I've made a very successful business from doing something that I love, and it doesn't feel like a job. The part that feels like a job is all the other crap.
Staffing.
Taxes.
Yeah, definitely the taxes. But like I have two stack, though, all those books over there, ladies and gentlemen, I have like 3 stacks of very large books, but all of the books I read within 2 years. And you know, not a lot of people have that kind of dedication. And every single one of those books have taught me something in some retrospect. Some of them repeat themselves, but it actually has taught me. So I don't know. That was kind of a tangent.
Well, do you think
a good one?
Do you think we're asking the right questions about this staffing crisis? Because this is like brainstorming, basically, like live on air, essentially. But like, I don't know. I mean, we put so much brain power into this, and I just kind of feel like the wheels are still spinning. Like, what's going on? Like, I don't know if we're even asking the right questions. I could be so far off target that we're missing a lot of key things that maybe aren't readily visible to just me and Tony talking about this, and you guys talk about it together all the time, I'm sure. So what needs to happen realistically within reason? Because the government needs to raise the wages. I mean, that's the end goal of what people are getting, but how realistically, what can be done by an average person to push this forward, and the people that we're serving? I mean, this isn't just a one-sided issue. Like, CEOs band together and fight the government. Like, that's not how things work.
A cure for developmental differences.
Can we do a drum circle on the Capitol lawn? That would be.
I'm down. I got a guitar back here. I'll sing
Chris,
Kumbaya all day.
Yeah, I've been told I am the songbird of my generation.
I can see it. I
carry
can
the
see
vocals.
I can see it.
There you go. I got some dance moves I'll throw in there.
You got that deep voice. You can just.
No, I really appreciate what like Chris said, because I do tend to be like, we have to do a change now. Like we need, and I tend to be more dramatic and a little, but when it comes down to it, like, what he says is true though. Like, we're about the moments, right? We're not the work that we do. Like, yes, we do have these really cool big moments, but we're not Make-A-Wish, right? We're not here and we're not giving these big, but we're doing these little moments that can end up being life-changing. And if you think about, this is my speech for Monday, so you guys get a sneak peek. Don't put this out before Monday or else they'll know. Okay, but like I was thinking about it. So Monday's the anniversary of the ADA, and this is this big moment with the President of the United States. He's signing this this legislation that uplifts people with disabilities. But there were so many small moments that led up to that, and so I think a lot of times we don't understand that just speaking to someone with respect, just asking, hey, I need to do this. Can I do this with you? And giving people the power and control in their own lives. I don't think we realize that is world changing. That is making these huge difference and can lead up to those big moments. But our work is a series of small moments, small, meaningful, intentional moments. And so we actually have one young woman who we support in residential, and then we also support in our day program. And she was living in developmental centers, right? Like, and she was not successful in those. She had a very, very awful, childhood, foster care, abuse, all these things. And so she had what a lot of people call behaviors, and we might just say like survival mechanisms, right? Like she was learning how to survive in these circumstances. And she's been very successful. She just celebrated a year living on her own in her own home, and staying out of the hospitals, staying out. And she was so excited. She's like, July 6th, it's been a year, and she's going around. And so she's like, so what are we gonna do to celebrate? And I was like, wait, like this is your day, like you tell me. And she's like, well, I like oatmeal cookies. I was like, okay. So we bought oatmeal cookies, and we, at our main day program, we did a huge announcement over the speakers, and we said, today's the day, and we're so proud, and we want to celebrate with you. And so we bought cookies for everyone. We had this great moment. And so I think when you look at stuff like that, day to day working with this person can be a grind, right? Like, I don't want to talk you through any more like meltdowns. I don't want to have to remind you not to hurt yourself. I just want you to do it. But the fact that we do those things have led her to greater success. And so for me, it's those little moments like that. And I think that that's what we really need to cling to. But I also think that's what we need to preserve. And so how do we present that? And I think, what you said, I think everyone's really just... I try and be creative, like, and I know you do this too, like, and I'm sure you do, like, hey, family members, you got a cousin, you got like, is there an old high school buddy or college, but, is there someone that that really gets along, a neighbor, a community, how can we fill that up with people that will be there to support you, and who do you have in your life that could potentially, like, we'll hire you, we'll negotiate wage, because the more comfortable a person is, the better they're going to do, and the more trust there is. Mm. So I think that it's just getting those people who maybe haven't heard about it, and then presenting, right? We see a lot of inspirational things of disabilities, right? Oh, look at them go. But presenting things like, hey,
She did
sometimes life sucks, but we're here for that too, But and we shouldn't also DSPs, like, we shouldn't be at the forefront. People with disabilities should be at the forefront of their lives. But how do we present that? Like, it's a meaningful job. You're not a saint for doing it, but it's a meaningful job, and it's an important job, and you're helping someone live their life. So, like, how do you have that balance of not too inspirational, but not like you're just a Joe Schmo. Yeah. You'll do. Like, it's so interesting to me, the whole marketing thing and how to do it respectfully and dignified and all that stuff. So I we always struggle with that and finding the, like, we're not exploiting this person, are they? Like, we're trying to show off our company and the things that we're doing, but we don't want to exploit this person. And
yes.
Yeah. So I just have more questions, basically.
Yes.
There's nothing
That's
helpful.
the route I'm going down to. I just have a ton of questions with no answers.
Hey, that's the keystone of life. Nobody really knows why we're here, in a sense. We can read.
I'm here for the
Bible.
pizza, man.
Isn't that a meme?
That's a tattoo.
That's just me personally.
What about you, Chris? You got any new inspiring stories? Anything that comes to mind? Because that was a great story, Sarah.
Thank you.
Did you practice that before you came?
I'm doing a video on it.
It's funny to me that there's something that Sarah had said that, there's nothing inspirational that I have on this, but I think when we work with our individuals, and I see this time and time again, is that we fail to include them.
Oh, yeah.
I've been with people, and they start asking me questions. I'm like, well, I don't know. He's right here. Ask him. Say, hey, what do you think? So I think there's a lot of that as well, where we're not working with the individuals directly. We're trying to do good for our own goodness, right? So we can talk about it. But it really just comes down to that individual. And if we can really just talk to them, ask them questions, how do they feel? And people are going to struggle, like your girl, right? She struggles to get through that year, but what a major accomplishment.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I know how I know how that was reached, and you got the right people having the right conversations, and this continuous education and training. Probably a lot of patience. Probably a lot of patience. But, treat the individual just as who they are. That makes just such a huge difference.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that can go for anyone.
That's a good point, right?
Right. Not only disability. A lot of these points we make on this podcast aren't just applicable to people with some sort of a disability. It's applicable to everyone. Like, you should do that with everyone.
Right.
If someone's weird or different or whatever, like we all have weird friends.
Yeah.
I just
some of us are the weird friends.
I am the weird friend for sure.
Look, I was trying to point out mine, so I must be, because I can't find it.
Tony, I'm sorry to break it to you.
Yep, I knew
you're the weird one.
This is actually why we're all here today.
We're all the weird friends. But yeah, no, that's a great point. And This is an urgent matter, and it's not going to get solved tomorrow. So we're just trying to think of brainstorming, but we're kind of riding this line of like, are we talking about it too much? But at the same time, it's like all consuming for all agencies at this point.
But even, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like even as like a family, like this is my kid's future.
Yeah.
You know, like I have 11, 12. I now have 12 nieces and nephews, and I have 5 kids of my own. And like I have told all of these people, like, she's gonna live with one of us as long as she's I don't, like we're a huge family and we will always take care of our own, I give people lectures all the time. And I'm not naive enough to think that, there won't be any paid support or, she's part of this system. And so when I look at this system, like I actually had moments the last few weeks. I think we had lunch. I'm like, I'm looking for new jobs. I'm looking outside the field. It's going down. I support a family. I can't be going down with this field, just like these whole moments of crisis. But when it gets down to it, like I get very passionate about it because not only does it affect me on a professional level, like this affects me on a personal level. And right now, our system is such that, parents are afraid to die. Parents, I have held sobbing parents who are saying, like, I just pray that they die before me because I don't know what's going to happen to them and I'm scared and I don't sleep. Like, that's literally, I was holding my 2-week-old baby and thinking about, oh my God, what happens when I die? Like, literally, this is something that we all think about on a fairly constant basis, And so how do we build supports? And the whole system was started by family members and self-advocates. Right. And how did we get to this point where it's controlled by bureaucrats and politicians? It's mind-boggling. And so, like, I'm very invested in it, just for that fact. And I want people to be able to sleep at night. Like, I don't, there's nights that I stay up literally thinking about that. Like, what? And she's 8, I just went to the doctor. I'm in pretty good health, It's like none of that. But like, it just concerns me. I couldn't even go out of town overnight the other weekend because there was this, I did. And then I had to rush to the ER, right? Because something happened. She wasn't in danger or anything, but something happened. She had to go to the ER. And so I'm just like, how do we give people that peace that their loved ones, and then just, for the people who we're supporting, how do we give them that peace that, hey, we got you, like, it's okay. And when they have that, people can grow. And so when you see atmospheres where people aren't growing, it's because we don't have that safety. We don't have that trust developed. And how do we get there? So I think there's so many different levels. And, it's a lot to put on people, but also it doesn't always feel like that in the day-to-day, right? And so, like, how do you do that message? Like, this is heavy. It's also a fun job. Go take them out to dinner. We'll reimburse you. I was talking to my DSP. I'm like, you want to go to a water park? I'll pay your, mileage. I'll pay. Okay. Also, if I die, can you take care of my child? So, like, it is important. It's so important. And I think, it's such a balancing act. It's so interesting to me.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
Heavy. Yeah, growing up with my uncle, I didn't even know that we could have got waiver services for him because it was family. Everything that we did, it wasn't until his later years, a little bit before he passed, that he ended up getting some waiver services just because his health was declining. But yeah, so you better keep chain them all up.
Yeah, I know. Got enough. I got enough of
now
them.
just so they can get used to it.
So, I think it's so. And I would never want, you don't want people to feel like they're burdened with something. But, but like when you talk about family, I was even talking to someone about nursing homes the other day. Like my grandpa started off in a nursing home and then now lives with my mom. I think that I don't think it's all families' responsibility, right? The system exists for a reason because people needed support. But I think that, too, like getting back to that idea of community and family community, and we all take care of each other. We just don't ship grandpa off to,
right.
So we just don't ship people off. We stay together and we find the supports we need to move on. But there's a lot of people who don't have that, and so how does that system then kind of fill in the gaps?
I'm always wondering if my kids are going to take, because I tell them all the time, like, you're not getting anything from me. I had to work really hard to get to where I'm at.
Yeah, you're going in a home, Tony.
Yeah. And so we should probably start one so we can make sure we can hire the people
hang out.
to take care of us.
Hang out together.
They'll be over the bed with a broom. Right. Thanks for nothing, Dad.
Here's your pudding, Dad. Well, I think we're at the part of the show where we can do something fun.
Yes.
And this was not around when you guys were here, but it is now. And it's rapid fire. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Start with Chris.
Look, I was wondering, like, if I should do different questions for each one or not.
Okay.
I haven't broke down on each, but I ask you a series of questions. They're more set to would you, will you, won't you, which would you rather, blah 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 blah. You know.
Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
He's a man
so
of
articulate.
eloquence.
Yes, you know that's why I have a podcast. He talks so swell. Okay. All right. This is going to be some easy ones, but I think, I'm going to ask 6 of them today.
Okay.
All right.
Do you want us to both answer, or him answer 6, then me answer 6? How do you
Smack
want
the
to do
button
this?
real quick,
Yeah.
and then the other one chimes
No,
in.
you got to smack each other.
Got it.
Oh, wait. I have to go on the other side. I'm right-handed.
She's going to get you quick. Yeah, both of you answer.
Okay.
All right. If riding on a cross-country flight, would you rather get a sudden case of diarrhea or a sudden case of vomiting?
I'm going to go with vomiting because I think I could get it over with pretty quick.
There you go.
And,
Good answer.
You know, there's only so much that comes out. And
And you can do that in one
interesting
area.
question, though.
Like you can,
Thanks for making me answer that.
You're welcome.
I feel like I need more information. I'm bad at rapid fire because I need more information.
There's always
am,
one.
Am I sitting by the restroom? Can I get there quickly? Or
You're in the
am
very
I
middle of the plane.
in my pants?
you're in the
Okay, I guess
center.
vomit. I hate vomiting with a passion, but I think if I have to like vomit or have diarrhea all over myself, I'll get the
I was actually
little
on
bag.
a plane once sitting next to a woman violently puking, and I was like, I'm going to puke now. She was just next to me like, it was disgusting.
In one of those little bags.
Yeah.
Oh man!
And then she just set it on the floor, and I was like, "Ooh." I like picked up my like bag under the seat, and I was like, "Nope."
Well, and here's my problem too. Is
Just
I've had
kicked it.
5 kids, so if I'm throwing up, I'm probably peeing too. 'Cause I'm just in trouble anyway.
Hey, you brought that up.
Okay.
You brought that part up.
All right. Would you rather be stranded out in the middle of the desert or somewhere sub-zero like Antarctica?
Antarctica.
I'll go with Antarctica as well because I'm pretty sure I would freeze quicker than I would dehydrate out there. So at least that way I'm getting it over with.
I've watched enough shows that I think I could be able to find some water in the desert.
I mean, you could live off snow. Again, do I have a bag with a parka?
You need details.
Will I get
You could drink
eaten?
your own pee like Bear Grylls.
Actually, that comes almost to the next one.
Oh,
This is
my
Oh,
not
good,
so-
good.
Would you rather eat a bowl of bat guano or drink a bowl of squid ink?
Squid ink. People eat squid ink all the time, right?
I don't know what Squid Ink is, so I'm going to go with it's not good. So we'll go with Squid Ink.
Okay. Well, actually, it's the more safer route because the bat poop has all kind of like bacteria in it. It's probably where COVID came from, I hear.
So you're trying
He's
to
pretty sure it did
Somebody
it.
was putting your questions to the test.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
just trying to see how
They would
how
have
good it
just
is.
done the squid ink. We wouldn't be in this mess.
Okay. Would you rather box a kangaroo or Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson.
Yeah, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I did, because the
It'd
kangaroo.
be fun. You could talk about it.
And he's a
It'd
stoner,
be one
too.
punch. You'd be out.
That's true.
Kangaroo, man, he'd be kicking you, scratching you, and I'd just be running.
Yeah, but Mike's a stoner, and if you like watch his podcast, I mean, it's very funny. He is he's very he has a lot of rants that he goes on, but at the end he's always telling people how much he loves them and stuff, and it's like, wow, such a violent man has a very, very soft, mushy center.
Isn't he like a lot less aggressive than he used to be? Did he go
Yeah,
through
but
therapy or
if
something?
But if you will watch, if you watched his fight with Roy Jones,
Oh,
he's
no,
still-
I'm not talking about fighting. I'm just talking about as a person.
Oh, as a
I've seen
person.
some of his old videos of like shit talking, and I'm like, Oh, wow. You can't say
There's
that.
a lot of anger in there.
Yeah, talking
Lot of
about
hurt.
eating people's kids. And
Yeah.
stuff. Those were fun days, though. Where
Remember
are we
when you
now
could
in
talk
life?
about eating people's kids and
Yeah, the
get
good
away
old
with
days.
it,
Yeah.
not get canceled?
I'm bringing it back.
Everybody's canceling.
Have fun.
Okay, I'm just gonna do 5. Here's the last one.
Okay.
Would you rather swim with sharks or be? Would you rather swim with sharks or be stuck in a tank with sand scorpions?
Sharks, right?
Sharks for sure.
Man,
Sharks are cool. They're fast. It'd be over quick.
Yeah.
I have swam with sharks.
I was gonna say,
You're
like half
crazy,
the time
dude.
you get cages, and sharks don't necessarily like always go after humans. Sharks don't necessarily always go after humans. Like
Right.
that's like a big myth, right?
We were-
Like it was just Shark Week. I feel like
Yeah.
we should all have good information to share.
Going with good information, I had read that more people die from cows each year than sharks.
Yes.
Wow.
Probably. I believe that.
I think it was 22 on average are killed from cows, and then 6 on average from sharks. So
That's
it's
interesting.
your mind
You know.
blower comment of the day.
Right.
We went.
Actually, just delete the rest of the podcast.
Podcast,
and
okay.
Just that. Just right
Well,
there.
that's it, everyone. Thanks. But and we went swimming in the sharks. They had drop you off at the back of a boat, and they just lower a basket full of just dead fish to the bottom, and the sharks just
Chum,
swarmed
right?
it. Yeah, but like you were just looking down with snorkels, and they're like, "Hey, come back to the boat." And then my brother was like swimming around in the middle. They're like, "Get that kid out of there!"
Oh,
he was
man.
just like,
Yeah.
"But that's my brother for you."
I'm not,
And he's not here to defend himself, so I can say whatever I
Say
want.
what?
always
Yeah,
the best
I'm a
way.
freshwater man. I don't need sharks or anything. I don't even want to be around dolphins, man. They seem like they take advantage of people. Every video I've seen, it's not like.
I think
it's not
that's
like
just
fair.
wishful thinking.
What?
Dolphins?
It's like, who hates dolphins? What kind of monster
taking
are
advantage.
you?
I can't stand all that cuteness.
Are you like, in what way? Are they stealing your money? Like, how are they taking advantage of you? I need more information.
You don't want to know.
Yeah,
do you?
we're going to see. I got some video to show.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
I would say the saltwater freaks me out more than freshwater for sure. Because
I don't know. Have you seen those oversized goldfish?
No.
Really? I thought they were just
People,
Like at Cedar Point?
people are throwing their goldfish like into lakes and ponds, and these things are growing huge.
Oh yeah, they
And-
eat all the other fish legs. Yeah,
Yeah, but they're huge goldfish. That freaks me out more than a shark, I think.
but they don't have teeth or anything.
I don't care. They look freaky.
Yeah, I mean,
I
come
mean,
on.
so do I, but I ain't heard
It's a
anybody.
goldfish.
It's a big
I want Chris on
goldfish.
this one.
Let's try to eat a goldfish. Y'all want to go? You guys want to do that
Let's
on
go
air?
fishing.
Yeah, no thank you.
Goldfish?
It's
No,
like, nah, I'm done.
good.
Because if you do it, you're probably gonna have problems. Okay, ladies
With
and
PETA?
gentlemen,
Yeah, where did we go down? That was
Yeah,
a weird
that-
rabbit hole.
it was fun.
Things
though.
happen.
But before we wrap things up, why don't you both let us know, well, not us, everybody else know how they can find out more about both of your separate organizations. We'll start with Chris.
I mean, the easiest way really is just going to our website, which is www.assuredhealthohio.com, and it just gives a brief information of what it is that we do. But if everybody needs anything, you always go through the Lucas County Board of Development of Disabilities, or just pick up the phone and call us, and we'd be more than happy to kind of walk you through everything that, even if it's not our services, what you need to do to obtain those services.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so usually Facebook is the best way to get a hold of us. We have Facebook, LinkedIn. You can just look for RVI or Riverview Industries, but our website is www.rviinc.org. And I will say that it's getting an update soon, so don't judge me on how it looks now.
That's a big undertaking. So we'll thank both of you for stopping in here and having this awesome conversation with us. We will eventually solve some of the world's biggest issues right here on this very
Definitely.
podcast, and it will all be due to your hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming back, guys. It's been great.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, anytime.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching this episode of the Friends for Life podcast. If you can, go down below, hit that subscribe button. Also, Friends for Life is hiring, so if you would like to come work here with us at Friends for Life, head over to friendsforliferc.com, click on our employment page, go down and fill out the employment form, and we will get back with you. I want to thank Sarah and Chris for coming on and talking through this whole scenario of what's going on and sharing their stories always with us. If you'd like to learn more, you can go look up RVI on Facebook or their website, as well as with Assured Health. They're on the Facebook and they have a website as well. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next week.